Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Bite Size Insight with Monique, episode number 4. The verse I have for you today is 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 9. 1 Corinthians 3, verse 9. It says, "For we are God's fellow workers. You are God's field. You are God's building." For we are God's fellow workers. You are God's field. You are God's building. Now, the context is Paul talking about the verses that are preceding this, about how, I planted, Apollos watered, but God gave the increase, and neither he who plants is anything, nor he who waters, but God who gives the increase. But at the same time, we are the workers, because the work that God has for us to do here on earth, God uses his people to get things done in the kingdom. Okay? So a couple things I wanted to point out. Number one, another term for it is co-laborers. And this verse says fellow workers. Other translations say co-laborers. So we are co-laborers with God. We are not co-stars. No, we're not co-stars where we should be propped up and we should be put on a pedestal and we should make people known of all the great work that we've done. No, we are not co-stars. We're not co-partners. We are his co-laborers. Fellow laborers, meaning under his employment, under his direction, is literally what this means. So sometimes I just want to, have us conscious of the fact that pride is very subtle and it could seep in. And sometimes we're doing all this and we're getting the accolades and the recognition, but let us always come back to neither he who plants is anything, nor he who waters, but God who gives the increase. Because it is an honor to really work for the King. It is an honor for him to use us. To be used by God is such an honor. And whatever capacity, whatever sphere that he has you in, whatever gifts and talents he's placed inside of you, to use that to expand his kingdom, that is an honor. And let us not forget that. So I could say firsthand, one time I was leading praise and worship, and it sounded really good. Like I'm just saying, right? Like it sounded good, and I'm sitting there. Well, I'm standing there on stage, and I'm leading people into worship, and I'm singing, and just just think I'm flowing with the Holy Spirit, and everything coming out of me sounds so good. And then all of a sudden, I hear the Holy Spirit on the inside go, "You can stop now." Um, yeah, okay. I just kind of, okay, I was done. I was done at that point. So that's what I'm saying. It's because pride is very subtle and it just really seeps in so sneakily, if that's even a word. We got to be conscious of it. So we are not his co-stars. We are not his partners. We are his laborers. We are his workers. Number 2, we are not loiters. Okay. We are laborers, not loiters, labors. So if you haven't been busy doing what God's called you to do, it's time to get busy, because we are supposed to be busy about doing the Father's business. Okay. We are here on this earth for such a limited amount of time. And we only have this window of time, because, you could have been born at another time in history, in another country, whatever. There's just so many, when you really think about it and try to wrap your head around it, but you were born at this moment, at this time, for a reason. And so we got to get busy about doing what God's called us to do. If you don't know, ask him. Ask him. What do you want me to do, God? Wisdom. Ask for wisdom, what direction to go in. This is James chapter 1. If anyone lacks wisdom, let him ask. God will give to you liberally. So we're not loiters. We're laborers, which means we are workers. We're doing something. And even if you don't get the, recognition, people giving you credit for whatever, that's okay, because God sees. Because everything we do is unto him anyways. So I want us to keep that in the forefront of our minds. And also those of you who are laboring, who have been working, I encourage you, Galatians chapter 6, do not grow weary while doing good, for in due season you will reap. You continue. If you feel like you haven't seen nothing yet, if you feel like there's been no fruit from all the work that you've been doing, nobody even noticed it, that's okay. because God sees. You just keep your heart right. You keep doing what He's called you to do, because in due season, you will reap. So you be encouraged. You keep working. So this is Bite Size Insight with Monique. If you have any suggestion, topics, ideas you would like me to cover, please go ahead and send those to info@moniquedeleon.com. And I will do my due diligence and study it out, give you some context, original meanings, and we will discuss it. So thanks for stopping by, and I will see you next.